Hi everyone, welcome back to the gameplay of Infinitode 2. So here I'm just recording the voice over a video that I already did, and now in this video I'm gonna show you level 5.5, the highest score that I was able to achieve. These are my stats in research. I'm playing of course on endless, and here just choosing the abilities, and yeah, they're starting. So I was able to achieve 16 million score total, and here just the start, the same as I showed you in my past video. So I'm gonna just accelerate the video. I'm gonna go a little faster, so also this video is not that long. And so here, as I said, I'm just trying to use my towers as obstacles so that enemies are forced to go the longer way around. And then I'm trying to survive with the least amount of towers possible, and yeah, just getting the bounties down and start doing that. And then of course, after placing all the bounties, getting the miners, start stacking the resources. Of course, the more resources you can mine, the higher your score will become, and that's why it's essential if you want to achieve the high score to place the miners as fast as possible and then upgrade them as fast as possible. One thing I have to say is the fact that I don't think I'm particularly skilled, and so I'm pretty sure there are better ways to achieve a higher scores. This is just my personal approach, based on what I've seen, based on like my experience, and also by other videos I've watched on YouTube. And so definitely using blast towers is essential because the stun, the knockback effect is just too good. But I'm pretty bad at using abilities and timing them correctly, and using especially like Windstorm and Magnet to have tons of maximum DPS. That really, I think, is the worst thing, because you need a good score in terms of maximum DPS to be able to survive in the last stages of the game. And so yeah, now here I'm just dropping out the bounties. You can see just 6, then I just need the very next one. And that's gonna be 7, so that's all bounties placed. And now I will start placing the miners. So of course, placing first color, that is a resource that is mined the fastest, and then slowly getting all the other ones, always respecting the minimum score of 3.5k in my case, because in that way the bounties will give me the maximum amount of coins that are 70, because I got a level 15 in the research. And yeah, here just choosing, depending on the cost and the resources, the best miners. And yeah, so now everything is placed. So here I'm gonna accelerate a little bit the video, just showing that I'm just placing down here mining speed, especially around Scholar, because that's already the fastest miners. Plus, if you boost the attack speed further with the modifiers, that's even better. So I'm just getting here the miner that has the highest amount of speed, level 5 right away. Upgrading the cannon and the missile, adjusting to the wave so that I can survive, and I can destroy always every enemy. Remember to be able to get double score in terms of mining, so like mining at double speed. You need to defeat the waves quite fast. So and here, after I could reach 7 7k cash or 8k cash, I started the next stage of the game, that is pretty much filling the screen with blast towers, and then on the spots that are not good for blast towers, getting missiles instead. That's what I did. And yeah, so that's the next stage of the game. Now getting all the miners, it's very important. Remember, the faster you can get the miners, the highest your score will be. Now dropping here a couple of damage and attack speed modifiers as well. Yeah, now I have every single spot, every single platform in the game occupied by a tower, other than in the square where the cannons are. In a moment I will get some more stuff. Now right here I see the enemies are pushing forward, so I decided to upgrade the cannon level 10. So that should definitely clean up for the next couple of waves. I was able to reach 1 million score. I'm currently leveling up the 4th miner, level 5. Here we go. And yeah, next one starting. Setting these cannons to weakest. I've seen Swoosh also does it, because in that way you can maximize the cannons on the enemies that are, you can boost their passive at level 10. They're gonna do 25% more damage to enemies below 25% of HP, or like they do 50% more damage to enemies below 25 HP, something like that. So yeah, that way you can maximize their damage. And now here, just getting through the waves, you can see the enemies get tougher and tougher. And so you need, you start needing more towers, like more upgrades, or well, using abilities. So in this case, so far I haven't used any ability, and I always try to survive for as long as I can without using them. But definitely when you're spending so much cash on miners, it's inevitable that enemies at a certain point will be able to overcome your towers, because you don't get any more damage. Every cannon here level 7. Now some of the missiles, they're close to damage and attack speed modifiers level 3, just to have a little bit more damage global. I also got the missile there in the damage dial level 10 as well, in the top right square. The maximum DPS right now, you can see just by having it without using any abilities, is 600,000, and I think right here it becomes a little higher, or like in a moment. So yeah, just getting the miners really is what is important. Yeah, here we go. Here I was able to reach 946,000 maximum DPS. And so here I decided to just let the enemies push forward and then use a nuke. I think I did. By using a global ability just like that, you get all the coins from all the past waves all at once. So you get a ton of coins, and so that's why I paused the game briefly right there, just to get everything done before the next waves are gonna come out. And then yeah, just continuing maxing the miners, really. That was my priority. Always auto wave call in, because in that way, once you clean up the screen from the enemies, your miners will have double like attack speed, and so they're gonna mine faster for a little bit of time. So one nuke ability used so far is gonna be almost around wave 200. And I think here I do use the Firestorm. Now at this stage of the game you can see already which enemies can become a little bit more problematic. The enemies immune to the slow are the ones that in this particular map are a little bit annoying because they can only be delayed by the stun and by the knockback of blast towers, and then that's it. So here I decided to use one windstorm and magnet. So that's why I upgraded some of the missiles level 6. I used once again a nuke, and here I think I got one more. Yeah, I'm getting another miner, and I'm preparing here to use magnet here. I'm just looking at how many enemies will be able to stack up, and then using here windstorm, magnet, and you can see I was able to stack the maximum DPS up to 9.5 million. And that means pretty much that for the next like 70 waves I'm more than fine. My abilities will do enough damage to clean up, to one-shot the enemies, especially like Fireball and the Smoke Bomb. So I'm good to pretty much focus on the miners and upgrading them and maxing them first. Now I'm pretty sure that right here is where like people that are very good at the game start doing something different from what I'm doing, and that's why they get super higher scores than me. But here I'm just keeping every cannon, I'm letting the enemies advance, then I'm using a global ability, and then I'm upgrading the miners. So that's my goal right now. You can also see here that I'm manually upgrading the blast towers to level 3. I'm doing it manually because I don't want to spend too much cash at once and run out of and run below 3.5k. So I always want the bounties to give me maximum amount of cash, so that's why I did it manually. And then just 4 miners left to max, and I think here I'm gonna use a Fireball, cleaning up, and then I'm starting to upgrade one of the miners here, or 3. And yeah, it's all about waiting. So these gameplays normally, when you try to get a high score, become very long, especially in the late stages of the game. That's why here I'm just recording over recorded gameplay already, so I can go faster, and yeah, the overall video can be a lot shorter. So here I'm getting another miner, so after this one is level 5 I will need just 2 more, and that's it, and I would have maxed already every single miner in the game. And here I'm starting to check out when the enemies immune to the slow are coming out, because those are the most annoying enemies. They can push forward a lot faster than normal ones, and so by knowing when they're gonna come out, I can prepare in advance and I can decide, okay, I'm gonna wait for like a global ability, or instead maybe it's better to go with a local ability. And yeah, in this case I got Firestorm. And yeah, just maxing once again miners. That's the top priority whenever you're trying to get a high score. And of course remember that every time you're going for a high score, you get a ton of green papers and resources as well in the meantime. So it's not just about the score overall, it's about like all the green papers, all the loot, and all the resources that you get in the meantime. Here I used a smoke bomb there in the top right side, Fireball, because I wanted to like max the last miner, and so that after I can max it, then I can start focusing on like upgrading the blast towers, or like upgrading my damaging towers to be able to get a very high maximum DPS, and in that way just surviving until the very end. I think I'm waiting to use like nuke or something like that. Yeah, nuke. That's the last miner, level 5. I got all the blast towers level 4, and now I'm starting to max cannons. Now here I'm just waiting to see to use another windstorm and the magnet ability. I think, yeah, I'm gonna use it right now, but I was only able to go up to 13.1 million, so it was a pretty failing magnet. Unfortunately, I'm not really good at using it, as I said already, so yeah, definitely there must be a better way to like be able to achieve a very high maximum DPS count. And right here I'm also doing something that I don't think is that good, so I'm using a lot of fireballs and smoke bombs in this stage of the game, that I don't have the blast towers really upgraded. Yeah. If you have any like suggestions or any kind of advice to give to me to like be able to maximize my strategy to be able to get even higher scores, just feel free to leave a comment, and I pretty much appreciate that. So that's all cannons level 10, and I'm also start getting some blast towers, as you can see, the ones closest to the path and the ones like in more critical squares. Level 6. A level 6 blast towers will gain more damage, more range, sorry. That's the only level that's gonna give them range. And of course, standing in a wider area is always a good thing. So another here, nuke. And now start getting the blast towers level 10. Now unfortunately there are so many of them here, and all of them like in good spots, that I decided to go first with the ones in the center. But definitely I don't think like there is a better option. Here I'm about to use I use Windstorm once, and then I'm gonna use it again, trying to get a higher score with the magnet in terms of maximum DPS, but I was only able to reach 20 million. So right now sometimes the enemies are if here I just show a portal, you can see that some enemies are coming out with like 30 million of HP total. So definitely having a maximum DPS of 20 million is not enough, and that's why I said that it was a bad magnet. In the meantime here I'm just upgrading the blast towers, level 10, increasing the attack speed, increasing the stun chance as well. So you can see enemies coming up with 21.9 million of HP, and I have just 20 million of maximum DPS, so that's pretty bad. Here I'm waiting to use Firestorm, so I'm just waiting, and boom, using it. Tons of coins, and here I did use some of them to get some blast towers, and some of coins instead to get missiles. Now here I really wanted to get a high maximum DPS score, because otherwise I knew I would have lost in the late game. So I wanted to, yes, get some blast towers upgraded to have more utility, but also some missiles to have more damage. And so here I'm checking out the waves, and finally here I was successful. One Windstorm, one magnet, and I was able to achieve 43.2 million maximum DPS. And so at this stage I decided to place that particular blast towers in the center with the power tile, and you can see that because the blast tower has like it's in the center, it's very good, and just by placing it you can see how much more now I'm stunning and I'm slowing the advance of the enemies. And that blast tower right there. And in my opinion, now that I'm just looking at this gameplay afterwards, I think I should have also sold all the cannons and all the missiles, and I should have got already more blast towers and more like freezing towers to start having the snowball as well. But yeah, I didn't think about that back then, and so I just placed one blast tower. Here I'm gonna just go even faster because there is nothing really here other than me using abilities, and yeah, just surviving through the waves. So the gameplay here becomes quite long because blast towers just delay so much. I already got through 10 million score, you can see. And yeah, each time I clean up the enemies, I'm just upgrading blast towers. You can see at this stage there is no point in upgrading offensive towers like cannons or missiles. And this is the thing I should have done earlier, so sell all those cannons and get those blast towers, especially in that square that is pretty central and all the enemies are going to will need to go past that. And yeah, I should have done it earlier. And here I think also using some smoke bombs not correctly, just using them way too early. I could have waited a lot more to use them, but yeah, mistakes were made. And here I'm still keeping all the missiles and like in the top or in the right side, but I should have also sold them and I should have got blast towers at least to start leveling them up passively. And yeah, but I didn't do it. Just 3 more firestorms and 3 more nukes available, so I knew I was getting closer and closer to the end, so I just wanted to survive for as long as I could. Yeah, just using the cash to place blast towers, upgrade them. And here I don't know how much I'm speeding up this video, but you can see how much the enemies are impaired, especially the enemies that will also be slowed by the freezing towers. And that's why like blast towers like are a must if you wanna achieve high scores. Here using firestorm and nuke at the same time, and here finally I decided to sell all those missiles to place like more blast towers and more freezing towers to have the snowball also to slow the advance of the enemies. And yeah, here we go. So this is where the fun really starts, because here is where like the enemies are super impaired. Like you can see how many enemies are stacking, and you could be seeing how many will stack until they're able to push forward, and that I need to use abilities. And here just speeding up even more. Like there is no point in going any slower, because here is just waiting and then using abilities when enemies are about to leak. So right here, upgrading some blast towers and then continuing on. So here I think I sold also some bounties, because as well, like at this stage of the game, I had just one more firestorm and one more nuke, so I don't really think it changes that much getting like 2k more cash. So I decided to sell the bounties. In that way I was able to get more cash and get some more upgrades. just the last couple of enemies, last firestorm and nuke used, and the last thing I can do is use windstorm. So here I'm just using it. I'm going backwards the enemies, trying to get the highest score possible, and here I'm just waiting because there is no point in doing anything. Like, you just need to wait the enemies to like leak, and you lose. So I waited my demise. You can see that it's taking quite a long time until the enemies are actually able to get through and get close to the portal. And here just a couple of lives left. Just one more here, and then that's it. I think here I lose. Yeah. So here I'm gonna just show you the last screen, this one here, and yeah, those were all the resources and all the things I got from that single game. Remember, I had the loot token active, but yeah, you can see like 520,000 green papers, more than 250,000 resources total. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you. Bye bye.